Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. In my last tutorial I showed you how to do the window card, and I just wanted to come back and show you how I actually watercolored the flower image. So I'll start telling you by what I use. Now I've stamped a few images. Now I use watercolor paper, and it's Arches watercolor paper. It's 175 GSM and it's smooth. I find that gives me a really lovely finish, and I just wanted to share a few tips and techniques with you today. So I watercolor in many different ways and using many different things, but also one of the easiest ones when the flowers are so tiny, and these smaller images of the little pussycats, I find using the Stampin' Up! Aqua Painter and some ink pads the most easiest way to do it. So I just wanted to share that with you today. So to start with, obviously I've stamped off a few images, but we're just going to concentrate on this image today. So that image is from the Awesomely Artistic stamp set. Is your big flower there. And just in case you're interested to know what other stamp sets I've stamped ready to colour, is the Pretty Kitty stamp set. Has all the lovely little kittens in it and has quite a few sentiments to go with it, so that's a really good stamp set as well, Pretty Kitty. And these little flowers down here, little bunch of flowers down here, and the leaves, they are from Birthday Blossoms stamp set. So they're three stamp sets that I do use quite a lot, and they are really good stamp sets to have, because there's several elements in each of them that you can use. So I have a piece of just normal paper toweling folded in half, and I have that to the side in case I need to dab off my Aqua Painter, because even though I'm not using water in the barrel, in this instance with this technique, I'm not using the water in the barrel, I'm just using the brush like a paintbrush. But what you'll find is when you're going to watercolor, you just squeeze your stamp pad like so and open it up, and you'll have a puddle, and that becomes your palette. But you'll find that it gets quite watery, so sometimes you need to just tap off onto your paper toweling. So I have done some of the leaves ready, and I've just left a couple of leaves so I could show you just how easy it is. Now I'm just tapping into, and I'm just putting it on the tip of my brush, and I'm just very lightly starting to go over the leaves. Now you can see I'm not going back into my paintbrush, back into my palette, sorry, that I'm doing all the leaves in that particular bunch before I come back down the stem, because you don't want a lot of ink on your brush when you're doing the stems. When you've hardly got any colour left on your brush, that's the ideal time to go down the stems, because the stems are so fine. So I'm just tapping back in, and I'm hardly touching it, like I'm using the very tip of my Aqua Painter brush. You hardly have to use any pressure at all. So I'm just putting some colour on this full bunch of leaves, before I go down the stem. So I just want a little bit more colour on those leaves. And I'm just doing this very roughly really today because I just wanted to, I didn't want it to be a super long tutorial for you, but I just wanted to show you a couple of techniques that you can use. And we've just got one more bunch of leaves and then we'll go in and do the flowers. Now what I distinguish as the leaves and what you distinguish as the leaves might be different things. That is fine, that doesn't matter. So I'll just go down that stem. And it's just up to you how dark you want your leaves or your flowers, whatever you're watercolouring. It's entirely up to you, because in nature not every leaf is the same. So then when I want to make sure there's no more green on there, because I'm going to change to Wisteria Wonder for the flowers. Now I would normally wipe that away with a bit of paper toweling, which I'll do after the tutorial. So now we're going to bring in our Wisteria Wonder, and we've got our little palette puddle there, and we haven't got anything on, any colour at all on the brush, and we're just going to go in quickly and do the flowers. Now Wisteria Wonder is a light colour, so it's a lot more forgiving, and you can work quite quickly doing it. So you can see how quick that is. I'm only at the moment just putting one coat down. But you know, there's no need to get expensive colouring pens and tools. You know, when you've got the Stampin' Up ink pads there, you might as well use them, because you can make your own palette by just squeezing them together like I showed you. And you can always go back over the flowers a second time just to make them a deeper colour. If you haven't tried this technique before, I would just recommend that you use a light colour like Wisteria Wonder, because when you use the darker colours you have to work a little bit slower. But I just wanted to share this technique with you, so hopefully that you'll give it a try. It's so easy with the Aqua Painter. It's got a really good brush on it, and there's no need to buy separate paint brushes to do this technique if you've already got the Aqua Painter. And then it's got the dual purpose of having the barrel with water in it, because if you were doing a larger flower, we would be going a lot slower, and you would need the water in the barrel to watercolor a larger area. The reason this is a lot faster is because the petals of the flower and the leaves are very small, and so you only want to use like the tip of your brush. Otherwise you're going to go outside the lines if you try putting too much pressure on them. Now I'm not going to colour all these flowers because there's no point you just watching, but I just wanted to show you this different technique. So I want you to get your ink pads out, get an Aqua Painter brush, and you'll just be so amazed how easy it is. So as I say, you can go back over. After the tutorial I'll most probably go back over and just add a little bit more colour so it's got a little bit more depth. But one important thing that I didn't tell you is when you're watercolouring, I would strongly recommend that you stamp in StazOn jet black ink. It's a solvent ink, and when you're watercolouring, you're less likely to bleed your colours outside of the flower. So that is how I watercoloured this flower here. So you know, it's really not much difference the colour on here, but and then once I finished the whole image, I just added some Wink of Stella clear onto my flowers, and then I cut it out and simply glued it on my card. So that's a quick tutorial for you, just showing you how you can use your ink pads as a palette with your Aqua Painter from Stampin' Up, and that's another technique that you can use on your cards. So I hope that's helpful for you, and until next time, happy crafting.